So we are working with the ASUS ProArt PX13. This is a laptop that I recently got and I have been using for general day-to-day purposes, but my biggest thing is I'm using it for video editing as well, right? So it pretty much is going around with me everywhere. I am hoping to see an improvement, even so mildly, on the abilities once we repaste this. So this laptop has what I would consider a built-in ticking time bomb. A lot of laptops nowadays are actually built like this, high performance laptops. And frankly, based off what I've seen, I don't think it's actually necessary, because there's plenty of other thermal compound options that, in my opinion, are a lot safer for the system, less risky for it to potentially die over the course of however many months, weeks, or realistically years. But there's a high risk at any point in time with this liquid metal being inside the system for catastrophe to happen, right? So we like to prevent catastrophes as much as possible. I'm going to put this over here actually. Now, we're going to be repasting the CPU with PTM 7950. I've used this on my graphics card. You guys already saw me do a full repasting with my graphics card on this instead of the liquid metal. I'm actually going to be switching out whatever putty they currently have inside the unit with the Thermal Grizzly Putty Pro as well. And to hopefully assist and prevent any massive catastrophes with the liquid metal, I'm going to be using these applicator, they're supposed to be special non-cotton applicators. I don't know how true that is, but they look different to a regular cotton swab, so I'm hoping. And this is hopefully going to be to help me suck up any and all excess liquid metal out of the system when we're in that position. And then of course you cannot forget your MG chemicals. This is 99.9% pure isopropyl alcohol for industrial grade use and purposes. So let me move this out of the way for a moment here. And let's actually fill up our little... I probably don't need something like this, a spray bottle, but I don't mind having it in a controlled environment. So, now, last time you guys saw me use this stuff, I didn't actually wear gloves, but this time we are going to definitely be using gloves. Because this stuff is very not healthy for your skin. So we are gloved up like a doctor. So we're going to, this shouldn't be a problem. This is more for later. This is when we're going to need it. Honestly, don't really need a lot of the isopropyl alcohol. This one bottle has lasted me quite a few years because of it. The couple times I've needed to use this stuff, I don't really go crazy and abuse it because it doesn't require a lot, especially if you're smart about the way you apply it and use it. So I just fill that up a little bit. That should be more than enough for today. Probably too much actually, but that's fine. So back to the laptop. Now, this little puppy has quite a few screws, and you want to go in a specific order. I've actually been looking for a video where someone did this to this model, and I cannot find a single person who's done this and recorded it. So I'm sure someone out there has done this, but didn't want to put it out on the tubes for whatever reason. So we'll be the first. Now, this is the 2024 edition. It is very much a nice little powerhouse, and with everything going on right now with the technology world, AI and everything, we really want to extend the life of these types of devices, because right now the 2026 equivalent model is actually the same exact price $100 more actually, now that I think about it. And from a what do you get perspective, its price, if nothing else, should have stayed the same or gone down, because they switched from having a dedicated graphics card internally on top of the integrated graphics card with the CPU. They went and put just a simple only singular dedicated integrated GPU with the CPU. Now, it's actually not a bad thing, because the performance that is in the AI Plus Max is actually pretty amazing, and the integrated GPU inside of there is also pretty phenomenal. So I'm not upset or bothered by that aspect of it. What I'm upset and bothered by is the fact that for some reason, technically by the laws of silicone and manufacturing, you went from having two separate chips with a higher rate of failure potential to one chip with a lower rate of failure potential, less material, and your price has gone up rather than stayed the same at minimum. Now, granted, of course, you have the issue with tariffs and things of that sort, and I get that, but it just feels like it should have, if nothing else, at least stayed the same. It should have bounced out, because we also lost from a 1 terabyte SSD, we dropped down to a 512 for the 2026 model. I personally think that is ridiculous. So not only are we using less materials, getting less in the actual hardware, in the sense of physical materials and manufacturing, we also lost storage, and the price went up $100. So for me, it's a little unpreferred, to say the least. But this unit was actually on sale for $350, its regular price. And with that price discount, you got 32 gigs of DDR5, if I'm not mistaken, 7200 megahertz RAM, which was a absolute steal. And then on top of that, you also received a 1 terabyte SSD, plus all the other features, including a 4050 inside of it. This thing was, when it first came out, an absolute beast. And actually in 2026, I think it's still an absolute beast of a steal. Especially for the fact that I got it for that cheap from its regular price of $1,800, $350 off. That is incredible. This beautiful little bubby has quite a bit going for it. And I'm extremely excited to see what type of performance gains and or honestly, I'm not even looking for gains. I'm just looking for long-term stability. So they have a nice little pad here on top of the SSD to do a thermal sync. I love that. Actually very happy to see that. It does have a swappable SSD, and it has a swappable Wi-Fi card. Unfortunately, everything else is not swappable. This is pretty, what you get is what you get situation. Now I see the thermal putty they have here, and then we have the CPU and the GPU, and they have liquid metal underneath there. I'm not sure what they have here. We'll see when we open this up if there's anything in there. And same for here. Now I was just running this kind of heavy, so I'm actually going to give it some time to kind of cool off while I disconnect the battery and so forth, because I want this liquid metal to not be super hot. I want it to try to be somewhat cold. We're also going to be kind of figuring out what we're removing. I believe I may or should be able to remove the graphics card, the heatsink, and I'm hoping I will be able to do it without removing the fans. That would be wonderful. I don't know if this is actually one solid unit, but I think it might be. So that may not be optional. We're going to find out, because I'm not saying where this is disconnected, and we want to be careful because we don't want to break anything while we're in here. Now we do have this one cable over here that we want to be very careful with when we start doing our exploration. Let's see how we're going to do this. Unfortunately, like I said before, I have yet to find any single other person who's actually done this with this unit. So I'm in a little bit of a pickle in the sense that I'm kind of a first-time explorer here. And I don't do this type of stuff very often. So I do not know if I'm getting myself into something terrible or fine. So we've disconnected from the battery, which is good. That's what we want. We'll give that there. Disconnected the battery. We're going to hold down the power button for 15 seconds. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 7 Mississippi, 8 Mississippi, 9 Mississippi, 10 Mississippi, 11 Mississippi, 12 Mississippi. Alright. 15 seconds on the power button. That should help prevent any electrical charges and signals being kept in here. Now, we are going to have to switch over from our P5 to what looks to be a P1. Let's see if I'm right on that. Or, I don't think those are P0s. I could be wrong. Actually, that looks like a P0. Let me try P0 instead. Nope, I was right by the looks of it. This feels like it has just a tad too much give than my preference, so let's try a P1 instead. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's a perfect fit. Okay, so that's a P1. Let's see if these are... And it's also a P1, which is perfect. Okay, so now let's see what we got to remove. So I'm seeing here, I can't tell 100% if the fans oh, I see. That's good to know. The only part I'm going to definitely have to be careful with is that this little cable here is taped in. Don't want to damage that cable. And it looks like it's going out. It's the antenna for the Wi-Fi card. So let's see here. Yeah. It's definitely looking to me like the fans and the actual heat sink here look like they're one unit. I don't want to take the risk. Alright, I'd rather undo all those than to take the risk that they are a part of it, and then when I try to pull this off, it starts to cause issues. So, let's see here. This looks like a fan power cable, potentially. And then we're looking for another fan power cable if there is one. This one looks like... I'm not sure what this is for. Get a little closer look, I'm not sure. Let me see here. Yeah, I'm 90% sure this is the display cable. This may be... Make sure they stay in. I learned my lesson last time with these speakers. They're actually loose. I don't know where I want to start to unplugging. I do not know where I want to start here because I don't want to lose my screws. Good thing is they're color coded, so. There's so much tape. So many parts of this. My goal is I want to try to maintain the reliability of the specification. Just trying to figure out where is the best thing I can remove without damaging or messing anything up. I'm looking through here and I'm actually fairly confident to say the heatsink looks separate from the fans here. They don't actually look attached. So I think I can confidently remove Let's see if I can look this up real quick. Oh, that just confirmed it. Oh, we are good. This side doesn't show it, but this side just confirmed it. That's actually not on. Oh, that means the heatsink is not on the fans. That means they're separate. So if I remove these 4 screws here, I should be able to lift once I remove all this little tape. Okay. Should be good. That fixes that concern. Okay. I feel confident that I just figured this out, that this is actually not taped down. So this portion of it here is the only concern I have. Is this cable. I feel like I may have to remove this cable here in order to oh, I see. Okay. So that should be a simple pop-up. And this one may be the same. Can't tell. No, that looks like it's definitely taped down. Let me see here. Let's see here. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. So I'm quite confident. My first fan connector is right over here, and my second fan connector is right over here. Quite confident that's what I'm looking at here. So this looks like it connects to the fan, which I shouldn't theoretically, maybe don't need to actually remove. I won't know until I remove a little bit of this tape here. This takes time and patience, especially when you're on an exploratory mission like I am. I'm trying to figure out what it is you're looking at, what goes where, what does what. The last thing you want to do is rush something and potentially damage something. So just take a little bit of our time. Slow and steady wins the race. This is that cable, which theoretically, once I remove this little anchor tapes, I should be able to just remove this after undoing the screws. Definitely want to be careful because you saw how that lifted. We do not want to bend the heatsink at all. So this process is it's going to take me a little bit of time to do this whole thing. But the idea is, by taking this little bit of time, this little bit of effort, I theoretically will be saving this computer going from lasting me a couple years, maybe at best, to lasting me twice as long, simply because it doesn't have the risk for the liquid metal. So this should be fairly loose now. I might have to undo this at the moment when I'm pulling it off, but this tape is undone. There's nothing taping there. So this is just one solid piece. I'm quite confident at this point, based off everything I've examined, I can remove these screws, these 8 screws. If I remove those, I will probably have no problem with the rest of the way. Let's see here. So now that we have the tape undone, this is much looser now, which is good. That's a good sign. What we want to see. I'm just making sure I'm analyzing every part of this to ensure that there's no screws I may be missing that I'm not aware of, or tape I may be missing that I'm not aware of. So far, I believe this should just come up once I lift.
And gently pry up the thermal solution with a lever tool.
Okay. That answers that question. Alright, so according to hold on. They found some backup here. I already popped that off.
Then undo the 4 screws securing the unit. That capacity is good for about 7 hours of 4K video playback, PU. That fits the tiny 2230 Jet 8000 mega, surprisingly beefy for a 13-inch machine. It consists of 2 fans and a pair of long heat pipes shared between the fin stacks. A third pipe at the top connects the VRM heat spreader to the top right heat sink. In total, you're looking at 4 of those heat sinks. A central spreader ensures the heat for both the CPU and the RAM. Despite the tight space, removing the cooling assembly isn't too complicated. As always, unplug the 2 fan connectors, then undo the 3 screws around each housing. Removing the cooling assembly isn't too complicated. As always, unplug the 2 fan connectors, then undo the 3 screws around each housing.
Unplug the 2 fan connector. Oh, I was completely wrong. This is not the fan connectors. It's actually this nice little hidden cable right here, which is crazy. And it's underneath these cables for this wireless module. So let's see if I'm able to. Get it with my nail. Back to plastic. Come on. There we go. Okay, so we got the first fan connector disconnected. Now the second fan connector, I actually don't know if I'm going to be able to remove without affecting this. There you go. Alright. Got that out of the way fairly easily. Slow and steady. Gentle and easy. Luckily, this actually doesn't require quite a bit of force. It's fairly gentle. There we go. So now both fans are disconnected, which is good. It's how we want them. Okay. So now with both fans disconnected, the recommendation is just to undo all these screws. So as much as I am not trying to, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. I'm actually going to get a head start on this. I need to put this in the freezer. Need is a strong word. I want to put in the freezer. I need my cutting board and my thing, but I'll get that in a few. So all these are P1s, so I'm not really too concerned about this. I just got to undo all these screws. And I want to go in order and put them here. Now luckily I have it on recording, so if I forget, I can refer back to this. But this may be completely unnecessary, but I'm going to take no chances. So that's one fan header screw. This is second fan screw. That's one, that's two, and then I'm pretty sure this is number 3. Now, I'm putting them in their relatively same spots, so I know where they are, or where they came from. So I'll start on this side as well. I love this screwdriver from LTT. It makes doing projects like this so easy, especially with that magnetic tip. Really nice precision tips, so I don't have to worry about stripping my equipment, which is wonderful. And then I'm gonna put this right there. Now, with all that done, we're going to slowly remove the 4 screws here on each side. This is the actual screws that go on for the CPU and GPU chips. I like to go unloosen each side little by little. Now, I'm not actually 100% sure if both the graphics card and the CPU are liquid cooled, but to take no risks, I'm going to treat it as if it is, in order to ensure that we hopefully have no spillage. That is the goal. So, and a good way to do that is to individually remove each screw little by little. Just like this. Now here, it's better to go in a cross pattern versus what I did to evenly uplift, but that's okay. Shouldn't be the end of the world. This has had time to sit and cool, so there should be minimal to no risk of any leakage here. We're going to find out if this unit that is fairly new, actually if it has a risk for leakage. I'm hoping it doesn't. So far, I want to see how loose this is now that we've undone quite a bit of the screws. Should be fairly that is not what we wanted. That is not what we wanted at all. So I want to pry this up little by little and help keep this out of the way. I am purposely using non-metal tools here to hopefully prevent a short of any sort. Okay. It's looking to me like I'm gonna have no choice. I was hoping to avoid this, but I may have no choice here but to remove this cable. It looks like it's actually glued with some form of adhesive down to the heat spreader. So, not what I wanted to do, but I mean, I have a choice but to do it. Yeah, okay, the last thing I want to do. I am holding down the heat spreader while I'm prying this up for the reason of this heat spreader, although it's a decent metal, it is fairly thin, and if I allow it to get pulled up in the wrong way while I undo this cable, I run the risk of potentially bending the heat spreader, the cooling system. So we don't want to do that. Just lifting this up, undoing this. There we go. Now we've got this cable undone. There we go. Didn't have to disconnect anything. I should be able to slide that out, which is good. And we'll do the same for this side over here, because I'm willing to bet you we got the exact same situation here with this antenna cable. The nice thing is we're definitely seeing that these cables are fairly easy to undo. Now, of course, if you're thinking to yourself, you're taking a risk by doing this. Yeah, I'm taking a risk, but it's worth doing, simply because of the fact that the liquid metal will do a lot more damage than an antenna cable, for example. Like, yes, I could potentially damage these cables here while doing this, but it's not likely. They're a little bit more sturdy than they may look. And liquid metal will deal board damage that's irreplaceable or not worth financially replacing or fixing, versus these antenna cables, which are less likely to be broken and then are much easier to replace. So it seems that it's this tape that they have used has attached itself. Ooh. Don't damage this. This is actually not very sharp, so theoretically I shouldn't damage these cables by using this. And I'm trying to be careful. I'm trying to be gentle. But they definitely use some form of adhesive, glue, or something of that sort to put this in here. So I'm simply undoing that. There we go. And protected the heat spreader while doing so. Now, for now, I don't want to undo those cables if I don't have to, so I'm not going to touch those. This is undone, so this heat spreader, if I've seen everything so far somewhat correctly, should be that putty. It is a hell of a like adhesive. I gotta find a good way to gain leverage on this without damaging anything. From what I can tell, the fans do not need to be removed. Heat spreader is actually completely separate, minus all these little cables. I need to lift off these locations as well. This one pipe is one of my most dangerous pipes. One 100%. The heat pipes here are being used as an adhesive. Man. These people online make this look so freaking easy. They make it look like it's a walk in the park. I'm not actually concerned about ruining the thermal paste here. I'm more just concerned about ruining the pipe. That's really what I'm most concerned about. I want to carefully break the seal that this pipe has, while at the same time not damaging the pipe. And I think I have been fairly successful. Okay, so now we can see, you should see some more movement. Let me see here. This pipe, this side over here seems to be giving me a hard time as well. There we go. Okay. I have a nice peel happening here, so now I just need to, as a unit, slowly but surely, come right off. And this cable that I removed should be able to stay behind. Eek. Oh, what a pain. Okay. Can this just pop off? I'm pretty sure this should just be able to pop off, but I think it's on there pretty good. Let me see here. If I can get this leeway that this has right here, I'll be able to work it the way I need to. Yeah, you see, now I should be able to take it the rest of the way. Okay. Should be holding this. What's holding this? This is being held by something over here. Why? This is the last thing I wanted to happen. Ah, come on. Something's holding it over here. I unsecured every aspect of it. Now, one thing's holding it. I don't know what. Okay. Let's see here. It's not this cable. Oh my god, this is like the last thing I wanted to happen. Okay. So all this is perfect so far. Minus. We did it. Okay, we did it. And look, we have no liquid metal spell, which is good. No spell. I was worried about that. And, oof. Look at that. Right there. That's your killer. That's your ticking time bomb that after 5 years, 3 years, 2 years, or even sooner than that, that kills your shit right there. So, we say no to liquid metal. So we're getting rid of it. Now that I've got this far, I want to do one more thing before I forget to. I can stay right there. Now that we have this here, oh man, I can't believe we got this far. This is actually kind of insane to me. And I'm hoping and praying right now that I did not damage or break anything. I'm quite confident I didn't, but I won't know until the moment of truth when I turn this thing back on. So, wish me luck, boys and girls. So good news is, for anyone who's asking or wondering, no, you do not need to remove the fans, and you do not need to disconnect the fan connectors, as a video had just told me that I did, in order to remove the heatsink, which is wonderful. This actually simplifies things quite a bit. It's unfortunate that that video told me otherwise, and I followed its instructions for no reason, but that's okay. Now you have an actual proper full takedown, where you know for a fact you do not. So we're going to move this out of the way temporarily to a semi-safe place. And now we can focus on this. Did you hear her meep at me? That was very rude. I can't believe she's done this. Okay, so now the part that I want to be very careful with is this. I want to get rid of that ASAP. I don't want that to be a part of this conversation any longer for more than even a second than it has to be. So the one thing I saw that someone recommended is that using these specialized, which I'll have a link for all this in the description, but using these specialized Q-tips that are, well, they look like a Q-tip, but supposedly they're not. We go ahead and we start the removal process. Now, supposedly, this is supposed to help remove. It's supposed to simplify the removal process. So we'll see how true that is. But you can already see firsthand just how... Baby girl, I need your help, please. Can you please take that stuff off? Bring me the trash can and put it right here for me, quickly, when you have a chance. So we don't want to let the liquid metal go anywhere else other than on top of here. So a lot of the videos I was watching was recommending don't take your eyes off of this, because you'll get the teeniest weeniest drop somewhere without meaning to. And that teeniest weeniest drop will be the death of your system. So we're going to simply use the Q-tip. For cleaning purposes / throwaway. So it's kind of a waste, but I'm just going to use one side at a time. And out here, I'm going to use a fresh side so we can scoop inward. We don't want this stuff doing that. We really don't want it to do that. So there we go. It's helping. So, and slow and steady is what everyone recommends.
What you mean?
I'm going to try some liquid alcohol.
I didn't know I had to call you. What happened? What? Wait a minute, hold on. I got all the messages from you, Mike. Oh, I see. Nada. No, mi phone estaba haciendo un update. Yeah. I didn't see the message to call you. My bad. No. ¿Qué pasó?
Oh yeah. This isopropyl alcohol is a charm. We're going to get rid of this stuff like wonders. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to simplify my situation here. We're going to give ourselves a little pad. Okay. Actually just filled this little lid here with isopropyl alcohol. That should make it easier to apply liquid alcohol to these cues, these tips, because according to the website, this is not cotton. They don't work like cotton apparently. So, frankly, I have no intention of reusing any of this liquid metal. So I don't care if it's in working good shape or not. All I care about is removing all of it. Remove all of it is all I want. Keep it away from the important components. Prevent any of it from getting where I don't want it to be, so it can't damage my system. And remove. Ooh. So I have this little ball formed here, and my plan to deal with that is simple. I want to get rid of this. Use the dry side to hopefully help scoop it up with another unit. So we'll take 2 fresh units that don't have any wetness, any liquid metal, and we're going to pick it up. I saw another person do this, and it seemed to have worked well. So I'm going to recreate what they did as much as possible and throw away the bad tip. Now, I want to see if this syringe will allow me to absorb I don't know if it'll pick it up, but I'm going to try. No, that's doing anything. I didn't think it would. I thought it was a long shot, but worth a shot. Just gonna have to do this the long way. And that's okay. I'm mentally prepared for the long way. So, isopropyl alcohol. In a moment, I'll take one of these nice and dry ones. Start cleaning up and absorbing some of this mess. There's still so much liquid metal here. So, look at all that liquid metal. This stuff is both incredible and horrible all at the same time. Take this isopropyl alcohol, which I want to make sure is not dripping, so we can control where it ends up. Be very careful.
Yeah. Yeah. No problem.
Throw that away. I think with liquid metal, it's better just to toss it, get rid of it. It may be a waste of Q-tips, but you are protecting your equipment. You're protecting your stuff from getting cross-contaminated. I do not want to take any chances here. All it takes, one of these tiny little balls you can barely see, to kill your very expensive system permanently. So.
Eso me porque viene cada 2 semanas. Ya, claro, porque como crece la yeah. So yo creo que on summer months they send you in 2 veces, but I know she'd rather have you come if you're gonna take care of it. Right. Yo hablo con ella to see if she has any idea.
There's still these tiny little balls. Tiny little balls.
Gotcha. Alright, I'll talk to her now. Okay.
Okay.
Alright, I see you.
And I'm going to take a dry applicator. Actually, before I do that, let's take one of these sheets and see how much I can grab of the liquid and the metal at the same time. I don't know if this is a good idea, but I'm going to try it anyways. I want to see if I get lucky and the alcohol helps absorb into this. Picked up some. It did help pick up some. So now I just gotta carefully moderate around the edges where some spread. Oh yeah, that's not what we want. I'm not trying to spread it, I'm trying to get rid of it. That's making it worse. That's why we have a trash can nearby. It's fine. So now what we're gonna do, take this little swab. Again, we got a little pool of alcohol here for a reason. I'm gonna dab on the tips. Because the alcohol helps. I don't know if it disintegrates it, dissolves it, or what. Ooh, I need to be very careful. There's one little ball right there at the edge that I do not want to take the risk of it going where I don't want it to. There we go. But I can just see from current application, there is no problem. This is the prime of diffusing a bomb. 100%. The equivalent of diffusing a bomb. Because unfortunately, one wrong move, and this is all gone. This computer is dead. It's exactly what happened to Linus. His G14 from ASUS also has liquid metal. And unfortunately, he had a liquid metal spill inside of his system. And it killed his system. He tried to repair it after the fact, and it was too late. The damage had been done. It was ruined, and he lost his computer. He had to get a new one, which for someone like Linus, it's not a big deal. It's actually a very simple thing for him. But for someone like me, quite a big deal, and not so easily remedied. So here, We are being extra persistent. Ooh, it's a big blob. Ha ha ha. These applicators are actually really, really, really great because it's actually helping. If you use it while it's wet with alcohol, it helps to dissolve, and if you use it while it's dry, it actually helps with picking up and removing or spreading. So I'm actually really happy I bought these applicators. They were not very expensive. There's quite a few of them for the price. It was like $10 for the pack, $8, something like that. They're making this process a lot more safer compared to if I didn't have it. So it's amazing what that one little ball turns into. You think you're done, you think you got it all, and just one big old ball of liquid metal later, and you feel like you're going back to square one. It's incredible. I'm gonna go ahead and same thing as before. I'm feeling very confident in my ability to get through this, hopefully with a working computer afterwards. The hardest part of this actually turned out to be those stupid cables that they had on the cooling system. If it wasn't for that, this is actually not that bad thus far. Granted, it helps I can see these tiny little balls. And typically you want a microscope to do something like this, but I know I have that, so. Look at that. Look at how much was left over. You think it's done, you think it's clean, and then you see that. That monstrosity of a blob. But what's incredible is how quickly the alcohol does away with it. I just want to state this is my first time ever dealing with liquid metal, so don't take me as a prime example of what to do, but take me as an example of being willing to do something you've never done before for the sake of anti-business practices. Because in my opinion, there is a small difference. There is a small reason to use liquid metal over other cooling methods, but I feel it is not a need. It is a could be nice situation, and the risks that liquid metal bring, the dangers they bring, I don't think outweigh the risks associated. So for me, the fact that businesses are using this is purely because they want to purposely have a ticking time bomb inside of their systems. They want you to be forced without question to have to buy a new system in a very short period of time because of a absolute failure after a year or two, when it's outside of its warranty, of course, because then it's not their fault. It lasted their warranty period, right? But they know what they're doing. They know what they're getting out of it. And in my opinion, that's wrong. So there's actually like a little pool of liquid metal in there, and I'm curious if I'd have any better luck with a cotton swab. I don't think I will, but I'm generally curious to see. This has a little bit of a finer tip. You guys saw me use this on our... You saw me use this on my GPU. I'm curious to see if there's any difference between cotton and this stuff, because I've seen many people use cotton. And oh yeah, if nothing else, this finer tip allowed me to get inside and push out these balls of liquid metal that I can see. Now, with that on the side, we're going to try to apply this to act as a way to pick it up without it sliding back into where it was. So far, it seems to be functioning. Okay. Again, throwing these away. Small cost to pay to ensure there's no liquid metal left behind. And the sad part is I could have already messed up, right? This whole process you see me doing could be all for nothing if I've already made a critical error and there's liquid metal anywhere around here already on the board. I'm screwed. It's done. It's over. So we're hoping, we're going on the assumption here that I didn't mess up and there's nothing dirty or has liquid metal on it. And that I've been very successful thus far. And to a certain extent, even lucky. Because to a certain extent, this is a game partially of luck. Fighting this one little ball. There we go. Got it out. Yeah, these sharp tipped ones are perfect for getting to this little nook and cranny here. Which might be overkill, might not need to be done, but I'm doing it anyways. I would love to understand what it is the isopropyl alcohol does to the liquid metal that makes it just vanish the way it does. Curious if it absorbs it, just moves it around, balls it up, takes it from being thin to solid. I'm not sure what it is, but boy is it effective. But yes, they claim these are not cotton. I find it a little hard to believe, if I'm being honest. I feel like they're just cotton markered black. But one thing that's for sure about this is the stem on these are much nicer, much better, much more... They feel like they're more purposeful for something like this, an application like this, so I give them at least that much. We applied some more to this little buddy here. And I'm just taking my sweet time with this one spot just to ensure as much as possible I don't miss anything. Since This is by far the most important and dangerous part. And what's crazy is it's not even just, oh, it'll short out your system. It doesn't just go that far. It goes even deeper than that. Because if your system, if this stuff comes in contact with some of your solder, it actually degrades your solder. And you can lose contact points because of it. Like, it's so bad on so many ways. I don't feel the benefits are even remotely worth it. They have to custom build protections around the PCB in order to even be able to use it because of how dangerous it is to the motherboard. Why? Why even bother? Honestly. There's so much risk with what feels and seems and looks like very little payoff. Why even bother with the risk? Unless it is to create products that definitely will not last you what other products used to last 5, 10, 15 years. Purposely. And I love ASUS, don't get me wrong. I buy a bunch of ASUS stuff. Just feels very anti-consumer, very big business, for lack of a description, for them to do this. I don't know if there is. They may not have that intention, but it just feels that way. Hard to believe that they don't, knowing all these things and being mindful about this. And it's not like, oh, liquid metal lasts longer. No, it dries out too. You have to reapply liquid metal just like you have to reapply paste, just like you have to reapply PTM 7950. You have to reapply it. It's not an end-all be-all solution. So it's not like it has a ton extra benefits over alternative options. It's mildly more heat performance on average, for sure. Requires less of a application, requires less material, I believe, compared to some others. But the risk does not feel worth it. At least not to me. Okay. Let's see here. My favorite thing about the liquid alcohol, once it dries up, it's done. It's clean. It's a nice clean surface you don't have to stress about or think about. It's gone. Alright. I think that's as good as it's going to get. I have removed as much as humanly possible from a unexperienced point of view. For a first time removal application, whatever you want to call it, this is not too shabby. I have this tiny little bead right here that I just picked up. And just like that, I think, from what my naked eye can see at least, I think I have removed just about every little drop of liquid metal. Got a little left right here. Teeniest tiny drops. That's the good thing about this, is that this is also an applicator. So when I use it dry, it actually causes the liquid metal to shine. So I can see a more shiny silvery portion telling me, hey, there's still liquid metal there. And then I can use these Q-tips to get into the groove to remove that little ball. And then I can guarantee as much as possible that the liquid metal is completely removed. And this white Q-tip, a real genuine Q-tip, is actually good at picking up because it turns gray on the white portions. So I'm actually able to see and know that, hey, I did get it. which is awesome. So a good mix of these Q-tips and those specialized ones is doing the trick for me to be able to see everything I need to see. Honestly, at this point, I've pretty much gathered every little bit of liquid metal. There should be almost none in here. And if there is, it probably isn't enough to make a proper threat to the system because of how clean this is at this point. This is very, very, very clean. Very, very dry. So now we're going to move on to the next portion, right? So I'm going to start cleaning all this off the PCB. I want to clean all these little sections, all this little putty off of each part. Now this part should be a lot faster because I don't have to be as, I guess you could say, nerve-wracked about doing it. This is a much safer, much easier process than the liquid metal because none of this stuff is really a threat. I don't have to get super, super deep into the clean of it. I just need to get a general clean and I will be okay. Now I want to look and see because I had some troubles taking off that heat spreader or heat pipe. I don't know if anything spilled off of it. I'm hoping not because that would be an absolutely unfortunate outcome for me. Absolute possible one, but an unfortunate one nonetheless. I'm going to say probably not. I don't really think I have much to worry about because I'm looking here at the heat spreader and it looks like there's nothing really balled up or... I mean, it looks like it was definitely leaking already off to the sides. I mean, that's why this little foam is here, but geez Louise, I do not like liquid metal. I'm so glad I'm doing this. As nerve-wracking as it is, right? Because this is nerve-wracking in the sense that anytime I open up a piece of technology that's not, you know, definitely have never done it before, it's nerve-wracking. It's concerning. It's frightening. It's just, you know, you don't want to break anything. It's an expensive piece of product. And the last thing you want to do is break it. But we have to sometimes do things that make us uncomfortable in order to ensure that we have the best possible outcome financially. And if that's what I'm doing, if that's what I must do, then I shall do it. And I shall do it happily. So, for cleaning off the putty, I personally like to just take a scraper of some sort. Honestly, I like these iFixit scrapers. And just go across it, little by little, across the edge. And just scrape them up. Nothing too crazy. This putty comes right off. Just like that. And then I don't have any intention of reusing this putty. So I'm just going to take some of this cotton and just use it as my little drop off for the putty. And it's such a nice thin, simple scraper. I also have the flat end scraper, so I can also use this one. It works just fine. Gotta be careful between these grooves. I'm not trying to put any unnecessary pressure on them. But I want to make sure I have a nice clean surface. No putty. So when I apply the new putty, they're going off of a nice clean surface. The putty in between the grooves is not the end of the world. That could just stay there. This is non-conductive, so it's not the prettiest thing, but it doesn't matter. You're not going to be looking at it. What matters is, does it need to be removed, yes or no? If it doesn't, then leave it. It's fine. A good rule of thumb, don't do too much because you don't want to break something by accident in the process of trying to do too much. So this will also be my first time using thermal putty over thermal paste or thermal pads. So this will be fun for that reason as well. We'll see how that works out in my favor. I've heard good things about the Thermal Grizzly Putty Pro. So it's a little expensive, but it's supposed to be really good. So this is just a general get the big stuff off, because as soon as I finish doing this, I'm going to take alcohol and wipe every single one of these chips down with alcohol. There's so many tiny little chips here. I know for a fact that thermal putty, the Thermal Grizzly putty, is going to be fun to work with, because it said for small applications, small areas, just ball it up on your glove with gloved hands and apply accordingly like that. And I'm like, oh wow, this will be fun. Let's see how that goes. You can tell this part's a lot less stressing because I'm actually talking. Earlier when I was trying to figure that stuff out, I just went silent, let the brain work. Gentle around these areas. No need to push hard. And this stuff. Feel pretty much no resistance. Minimal. Very, very minimal resistance. I'm trying to take the stuff off. So this is a really nice wet putty. So we're going to see. I have no idea what to expect for the most part from the Thermal Putty. The Thermal Putty Pro. Ooh. And the beautiful thing is, no matter what you apply too much theoretically, it's non-conductive. Not the end of the world. I am curious what type of putty or material did they use here on the, what type of paste, or it looks fairly liquidy, so I don't think it's a phase change material. But I am curious what it is. Again, nice and soft. No need to put a bunch of pressure. Whatever comes off, comes off. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And what matters most is the top of the chip. Okay. And funny enough, my new LTT cables get in today, so I'm really happy about that. Waited a couple months for those. So, be able to hopefully have time to record my video on those. My goal and my game plan right now is to basically do everything I can here make this as high of a performing laptop to be able to edit the videos on the go. So, all right. Okay. I'm not going to worry about the rest here because I don't want to accidentally damage something for no reason. So, these little guys right here, they're the real headache. Ooh, hold on. Be careful, Daniel. Getting putty where I don't want it. And it's not going to damage anything, it's just we like to keep it clean, like to keep it pretty. So, gotta be careful. I'm almost at the point of using some rubbing alcohol. Not there just yet, but we're about to be. So we'll see in a moment. And the reason why I haven't touched that GPU yet is because I don't want to accidentally mix whatever that is and the putty all together. I want to keep all the same materials the same and together. So not that it would damage anything, likely, not likely to, but better safe than sorry. Honestly, all these cleaning supplies and materials have been a wonderful, wonderful thing to have. I find it funny how you could tell on this board, based off the version you get, they have the memory modules. For the 4060 version, they have an extra slot right here that I'm pretty sure would be to add extra memory if this was a 4060 version or 4070 version. Which is really sad that they didn't offer the 4070 here in America. I really want to know why they did that, because in 2024 this wasn't like tariffs and stuff like that weren't really a problem or thing. So I'm curious what the mentality was, why they didn't offer a 4070 option in America. It's a very curious, strange choice for me. This is going to require the smallest amounts of little tiny putty balls. Alright. So far, so good. I think for this area, I'm going to switch back to this little guy. Yeah. Those wider areas. That other one was better, but this is definitely more of a precision tool. You gotta give it to iFixit. Although I prefer Linus's screwdriver, it's nice that they do have a full service package for a proper kit that Linus doesn't really offer, which sucks. I don't know why they don't offer something like a proper full kit like iFixit. But to get between these little spots, this is perfect. Again, not the end of the world if we don't. I'm about to take alcohol swabs and clean off all the tops of these things to pre-prep them for what's to come. And that will be the real work. Reapplying the putty to all these. And not forgetting any important ones that need it. I don't know if I'll make more videos like this. I don't do this very often. But I wanted to at least have some right to repair content on this channel, because I do believe it's something that's important for people to do and be able to be capable and confident of doing so. This is a small thing that technically I don't need to be doing. I'm doing it mainly because I'm trying to preemptively prevent my computer from dying due to stupidity and bad design. Because otherwise these things are amazing. This computer is phenomenal, but it doesn't take much to ruin something good, you know? So oh, this is definitely a PTM 7950 phase change style material without question, because this whole section right here is a nice solid piece of like hardy material of some sort. So I'm quite confident this is some form of PTM material coolant. Luckily this is a plastic tip, so I'm not really concerned about damaging the GPU or anything like that. Definitely good to use gloves for stuff like this. I did do it with my graphics card and it wasn't the end of the world, but definitely better to have gloves if you can. It's a small investment, but it's very much worthwhile. And luckily, from what it looks like, we had a good application and coverage of the liquid metal and the PTM 7950, so I'm really happy about that as well. It didn't actually need this love, but we apply it anyways, just from good behavior, good habits. Alright, now do a nice little cleaning. And preparation. And this another alcohol swab. Some of the best investments you'll make to take care of your technology is just a nice couple Q-tips, some proper alcohol swabs. The best simple investments you can make. And it enables you to do stuff like this properly, safely, and with no concern of if you're going to damage your equipment. And that is invaluable, especially if you get to the point where you're confident to do work like this. I'm currently taking a risk, and I'm okay with that. I feel confident in my ability to execute this task, and God forbid I have any problems, I feel confident in my ability to fix them, one way or another. Either that, or that's what we pay for protection for. That's what insurance is for. Even though we try not to use that. Oh yeah, got in there real nice and good. Let's see here. Luckily, it's not the end of the world if you miss a little bit. Again, not a big deal, it's just not a preference. So far those chips look great. Nice and clean. Nice clean material. Take a nice dry one. Just to wipe off. Good so far. Looks really good. Just got these nice little guys right here to do, and we're done. At least we're done with the laptop portion of it. We'll have to continue these little guys right here. A nice little small surface area. Nothing to really worry about. Little by little, I might be able to pull out all that gunk. Make it like new. With a little effort. Careful effort. No. Okay. I'm not going to mess with that. It's fine. Let's reapply. One more nice swab across. And this is all clean, clean. So those are clean. These are all clean. I mean, beside their sides, I can't really do too much about the gunk on the insides without potentially damaging something. So I'm not the most expertise in that. So I'm not going to go crazy with it, trying to get every little bit of gunk out. Before we move on to putting everything back together, two things I will do real quick. It's probably going to be easier while everything's off. Just reattach the fan headers. Okay. There we go. There we go. Okay. So those look good. They look like they seated well. I'm not really too concerned about those. Should theoretically still work in a little bit. So now, with all that said, this actually wraps all the way around in here. Because I had to lift this and whatnot, it came up and shit. That's okay. Not really too concerned about it. I'm just gonna put that right there for now. I'm gonna need to lift it up anyways again, so it doesn't really matter. When I go to put this stuff back, I gotta kind of like finagle them and slide them in a weird way. Actually, now I think about it, this one's probably the only one I did have to actually remove in order to lift this cable up the way I did without having to unplug everything. I actually think this is the one. Oh, I guess you could have slid it out like that. So, that's fine. Okay, we're doing good. Video's still recording. Cool. I know this is a long video, but it's important. So all this is nice and clean. I mean, has a little gunk on the sides, but that's nor here nor there. That's not important. So let's get this one out of the way, and let's pull our heatsink back to the show. I'm gonna move this to the side, out of the way, out of sight, out of mind. A little bit of cover, just to keep it somewhat protected and clean while I finish. Okay, so we have a lot of little spots to clean up, but like we did before, we're gonna go ahead and focus on this area right here first. I want to get rid of that liquid metal. Now with this, I'm a lot less careful, simply because of the simple fact there's no board components here that I have to worry about, like when working on the actual board. So getting rid of this should be 10 times easier than what it was before. So I'm actually not too concerned about this. What I love is that black material on this Q-tip really helps without question to know like you're picking up that material without question. With the white one, it's a little gray, so it's a little hard to see. Not 100% sure if you're picking it up. This is like, yeah. Now you're picking it up, big boy. Don't worry. You're removing it little by little. Piece by piece. That's what we want. So there's so much liquid metal. I'm glad I did this because look, it was seeping off to the sides here. Granted, that's what this this foam is here for, is to help prevent the God forbid spillage of it. But a lot of systems have protections like this, and guess what? They fail. They fail. And When they fail spectacularly. And it is very, very bad. So, in this situation, what's crazy is that something as simple as shutting off your system, putting it on its side inside your bag, can affect the liquid metal and cause it to leak over time. And, it's not that surprising. It makes sense that it does, but it's like very sad to think that that's something everyone does. Every bag on this world carries the laptop in a vertical fashion. And that pulling can cause it to start leaking over time, especially if you put your bag or you put your laptop inside your bag while it's still on. Now you're heating up that metal, and that metal, when it's hot, becomes a little bit more viscous and it's just a little bit more susceptible to leaking the way you don't want it to. So, not the end of the world per se, but definitely not preference. Now I see why they say do the alcohol last. Don't do it first, because it looks like all it's doing is causing the liquid metal to kind of like ball up together with each other to make it a little easier to absorb, move, manipulate, however you want to call it, versus without it. There should be significantly less liquid metal here than what was on the actual plate. They should just have like reminiscences of the liquid metal rather than the actual large quantity. Another reason why it should be a lot easier to pick up compared to when we were doing the board. I know this is not the most interesting thing, which is why I'm talking so much. It's very, lack of a better description, mundane, but it is an important mundane task that people need to be more confident and knowledgeable on how to do, because this is something that can be done by anyone. I'm proof of that, right? I'm not trained in this. I've never done this before, but I have that can-do attitude, and I'm willing to say, fuck it, let's do it. So I think ASUS is an amazing company, which is why I still buy their laptops and I still buy their products, and I will continue to support them for years to come, because I actually do think they're one of the best companies, not and argumentatively maybe even the best company. They have their issues just like every other company. They have had warranty issues and so forth and complaints, but that's the nature of being in business. You're going to have mistakes, you're going to have problems, but how you deal with those is a huge factor for me on whether or not you deserve a second chance. And in my opinion, I like the way ASUS has handled quite a few of their situations, and I think that they handled it well, and I think that we are still, room for improvement. There's never not room for improvement, but ultimately I'm very happy with the way they've handled quite a few of their scandals, for lack of a better description, and we'll continue to use them. We'll continue to recommend them unless they do something truly egregious, which I don't think they have. Like I said, with the liquid metal situation here, they take every precaution. I mean, they've done a great job to create precautions to ensure no leakage. I mean, they have tried very hard here to make sure that there is no oopsie daisies, right? So it's not as bad as I may be portraying it out to be, because they've actually done quite a good job of protecting the system as much as possible. Better than some other companies. And mistakes happen. I mean, nothing's perfect. That's the nature of business. But that's interesting. Very curious what that is that's coming off so black. All this should be safe to use alcohol on, so I do not know what that is, but that's okay. So now the tedious part once more of cleaning off all these areas with the putty. So, here we continue. God, I could use some music right now. Now, I want to be gentle and careful because these heat pipes are not really supported on the other side, and I don't want to damage them. So, these I'm not going to go crazy with. Just going to do some simple scraping. And luckily, since they're all in line on one solid piece of material, cleaning up the heatsink itself is so much easier than cleaning up the individual dies. Oh man, and I was worried. Honestly, I was worried that I may not have enough putty because I only bought the 30 gram. I'm going to have so much left over. At least I think I will. I think I should have plenty of putty left over after completing this project. So we'll see. I still want to be careful as much as possible to attempt as much as possible not to damage the heatsink. We don't want this heat spreader to get bent or dented in any way. We want to maintain its perfectional, its shape as it is. Any bends, anything of that sort could be spell catastrophic in the cooling performance. So these heat pipes have to maintain perfect positioning. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is so satisfying. This part, I gotta admit, is actually an enjoyable portion. If you got OCD like I do, this is so satisfying to clean off. It doesn't require much pressure. Just a teeny weeny bit of pressure to get this stuff off. Proper form is more important to ensure a clean clean. Look at that. Look at that. Ah, jeez. It kind of is a waste because this is brand new putty. I probably did not need to remove this putty, in all honesty. If I'm being real with myself, I probably didn't need to do this part. I could have probably reused this putty just fine. Probably need to re-ball it up and reapply it, and it would have been fine. But I'm the type of person that's either go big or go home. If I'm gonna do this, if I'm gonna undo all this, re-putty it, or repaste it, I might as well do it 100%, no half-ass it, which includes everything up to and including re-puttying it, despite never puttying before. I was even thinking maybe I can use a thermal pad, but I didn't want to take the risk that with a thermal pad, if I get the thickness wrong, since I don't actually know what thickness I would need, if I get the thickness wrong, either one, the efficiency of heat transfer would be affected, or two, and probably worst case and the more realistic case, if it's too thick, it would damage the heat sink when I go to put the heat pipes back on. When you use putty, it just spreads out the sides. You put too much, no biggie. It'll move off to the sides. So as long as you're not using a super duper thick putty or putting a bunch of pressure too quickly, being impatient, you'll be fine. So far, so good. And as long as I reapply to each individual die, I won't miss one. We'll be A-okay and everything will be cooled accordingly. Now, I doubt anyone's still watching at this point, unless you're actually following along and doing it for your own system. But I hope this has been informative. I hope this is helpful. I hope this is someone's watching somewhere at some point in time and going, damn, I'm actually really happy he made this video because it was worth it. If not, no, I'm enjoying myself. Nothing else. If not for anyone else, I'm enjoying myself. So we have cleaned off pretty much every section of this. Now we can do the fun part of giving it a nice little... Ooh, I don't want to use that. I don't know if I use that for liquid metal. We're going to give this a nice little alcohol bath. Really clean off. This part is so satisfying. Okay. Yeah, after that last time when I used this alcohol without any form of glove or anything like that, no biggie, nothing happened, but I was not happy with my hands afterwards. They just felt a little weird, tingly, and you could tell you did a bad. So this time around, making sure I do a good and do it correctly. I want to make it very clear. Anyone can do this, but this is a risk. You are choosing to do this of your own volition. I do not recommend doing this unless you feel confident and recognize you are taking risks in doing so. Officially, this is not for the faint of heart, technically. But technically, anyone can learn how to do this, right? So that's where I'm coming from. And that's what I mean when I talk about right to repair. As long as you got hands and the ability to think and carefully clean, you will be okay. Even if you make a mistake, as long as you understand that was a part of the cards from the beginning, that was a part of the deal, part of the risk, then go for it. Otherwise, do not do as I do, as I understand I'm taking a risk and I'm okay with said risks. All right. Okay, apologies for the interruption. We are back in action. Unfortunately, the SD card got full because I've been recording for quite some time. So we just finished cleaning up the heatsink, and from what I can tell, looks like it's in perfect condition. We haven't seemed to have made a critical error, so that's good. I'm going to clean this off a little bit if I have a little pad to do so with. Just to clean it off. It's not the end of the world if it stays on, but make her look pretty. So. All right. Alright, I think that's good enough. Honestly, I don't want to go too much deeper. I kind of want to get this thing back together and start testing thermals again. Make sure I didn't break anything. One final examination. Everything looks nice and clean. And ho, ho, ho. Looks good so far. So let's see. I might re-glue with some super glue or something here and here, since that was originally there. But as of right now, I'm very happy with the outcome. Let me see if I can use my tool to... I don't want to damage that fin. I just want to get that little stray putty out. Let's try one of these with some alcohol in it. Might do the trick. Yep. Looks like it's doing the trick, which is good. I don't want to damage these fins. Every part of the heatsink is important for performance and efficiency. So I'm going to make sure the other side's good. Yep. The back side also good. Yep. Doesn't look like any damage or anything of that sort, so should be good. And let's see. All right. Looks good to me. All right, so now with that said and done, we have done the scary part, and we've removed all the scary pieces. No more scary. I guess there shouldn't be. So now just one last little swab through to hopefully catch any stray liquid metal that might be hiding. Let's see, got a little bit, nothing crazy. But so far so good. We are ready to rock and roll. So we have the cleaner, we have the actual heatsink cleaned, and from what I can tell, in proper condition. I don't see any bends, any weirdness, any damage, so we should be in a good place to reinstall. So we're going to grab, I've been storing it here, since technically this is where it goes. And nice little form of storage. Temporarily. So that's where it's going to go back in the unit. So grab the main board. Okay. Welcome back. So now this unit here. Ooh, I think I just caught something. I hope I'm right. I'm using this because it'll tell me if I was right, if it's liquid metal or not. Nope, we look good. We look good. Okay. So all the chips are cleaned off and ready for reputting and repasting. Let's see here. So the Thermal Grizzly comes in this box. Comes with some paperwork. Comes with this little 30-gram putty and some applicator sticks and some gloves. As you can see, I already have gloves, and so I don't really care or need those. Now the actual Thermal Grizzly putty here. Make sure those fans are in. Yeah. Yep. Good news is if it's good to know that this would be fairly easy to fix the fans. The only downside is I would have to remove the heatsink again in order to do so. Now it's not really a danger though, so if that does become a thing, I don't have to be afraid, which is good. I think those should be good. Okay. Yep, they should be good. Okay. And then here, let's get this putty out and about. I want to see what it looks like for the first time and how full this package actually is, because that's pretty decent. It's a pretty decent amount of putty. So I'm going to try to avoid getting this putty on my my mat, because unfortunately that would be very, very sad. This putty does seem to be a little more thicker, less wet than the previous putty. So we'll see here. It seems more malleable, not really balling up like I would want it to. In the process of trying to ball it up, I'm just flattening it. Interesting. Okay. Maybe it's just my experience with sub balls of the putty. It's a lot more malleable than I expected. This ball seems a little too big for that one piece. I feel like this ball would be the equivalent for two. Alright, let's try. I'm going to try something. I'm going to take little bits and pre-apply. If it lets me. That's interesting. It's more attuned, as of right now, to attach to my glove than it is to attach to the components. There's going to be a problem. That's okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to make little globs. And again, if it turns out to be a little bigger than I would want, I'll cut it in half and use that next little blob on the next spot. And then those two blobs together will make a nice little blobby home. Unless That little bit of... I'm curious. Oh! I don't want to get on my mat. Get off my mat. I'm curious. Can this become... Can this become a little... It's putty, right? So... Can it become a little string? And apply to a larger area to make this faster? The answer is a resounding yes. I don't know if that's too much. I don't know. I definitely not too little, that's for sure. So, that's covered. We'll seep out the sides, worst case scenario. And then, ooh. I do not remember if these little guys had on them. I'll have to review the video. Let's put a ball, 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 ball. Now that I have a plan on what I'm going to do here, honestly, I'm not upset if I have enough putty just to make it for this one install. I'm pretty sure I have more than enough for more, but I wouldn't be super, oh my god, I ran out. I want to make sure that I have enough for this install properly. That's what I definitely don't want. That piece of hair in the putty. Get your butt out my putty. Oh god. This has already gone horribly. That's fine. I'll pre-squish. Like I said before, this is not the end of the world. As long as it has good coverage, it will perform well. Oh my god. You're watching someone struggle. I hope you're enjoying, because a struggle is what this is. That might be way too much putty. I'm not sure. As long as I have enough to finish. That's all I care about. Have enough to finish. Their instructions are the ones that say to use gloves. And I don't know if it's helping. I sure hope it is. Because, boy, is this questionable of an application. I don't know if the pre-squish is a good thing or not, but we pre-squishing. So for these, we're going to do the same thing we did over here and create a nice little roll to go across them. How is that possible? No, that's fine. Oh my god. Why is it sticking so well to the glove? It's making this so much more difficult. I thought putty was supposed to be easier. Okay. I'm gonna just... Well, that worked out. It almost worked out. It is working out? It maybe is working. Okay. Now I'm gonna say it worked out. Very questionable if it worked. Okay. All right, I got a good cover there. I'm gonna add a little extra dab here. Just being generous with it. Just to really ensure that this has enough. Okay. Well, this stuff should be good now. Okay, so I got a good spot right here. Got a good spot right here. Now I just need to put stuff there. 1, 2, 3, and then PTM 7950. And I still have like the majority of this container, which is good. So pretty sure I just got enough for 2. We'll see in a moment. First time butterflies. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now, see here. Yeah, there we go. And then we squeeze. Oh, keep that stuff away from where it ain't supposed to be. But it takes them off. It takes them off. I have no idea if this is enough or too little. Only one way we're gonna find out. All right. Gosh darn it. It keeps sticking to this instead of sticking to the where I want it to stick to. Again, non-conductive, so this stuff should not cause any problems if it's going over and touching things that regularly otherwise it doesn't have to be touching. Shouldn't damage anything. So that's a nice little spread that we got here going on. Okay, so got those covered so far. One last little line there and we will be, I believe, set to go, because there was none on this. I don't think. I'll double check, but I don't think there was anything on there. This is rough. To say the least. This is rough. Not gonna lie, I think I would have rather cut a bunch of tiny little thermal pads, 0.5 millimeter thermal pads, than to ever deal with this ever again. Because, my God, this is rough. And I'm really hoping I'm not messing up the application of it. I don't think I've, in all the videos I watched, I don't think I saw anyone struggle as much as I have here. Granted, I know it's my first time, but this is still just ridiculous on the amount of struggle. So it's a little thin here. I'm not going to keep messing with this because I'm just feel like I'm making it worse. I'm going to grab just a little bit and add it on top here because I want to make sure those have a clean, even amount. I think that's enough. If nothing else, it's too much. And if nothing else, it's too much. So I'm okay with that. Let's see if I can find out and verify these last few. I actually cannot for the life of me remember right now if those had thermal paste on them or not. Or thermal putty, I should say. The only way I'm going to be able to find out is by watching the video that I recorded. which is why it's a benefit that I'm recording this as well. It helps keep track of things that we lose track of. I'm quite confident they didn't have, but I want to make sure because those are like super clean. I feel like if they had putty, they would be way dirtier. Like those were all dirty, but maybe they just applied it better than I did.
Hope this is
Ooh.
someone's watching somewhere at some point in time and going, damn.
Yeah. Okay, so the answer is an absolute resounding yeah. They just had really clean applications. Oh, God. I did so much worse. Okay. That's fine. So, yeah, each one of these little balls had, or each one of these little plates, I just cleaned them really well, apparently. Well, good for me. That's a good moment. Let's high five Daniel for that one. Okay. So, we're going to try and do what they did, which was apply proper tiny little balls to each one of these little spots. I'm going to attempt to do the glory to which they did when they first installed this. I am quite confident I'm going to fail, but I'm going to attempt it. Oh my goodness. Okay. No tiny ball. I feel like this one was probably the exception to the rule and probably would be easier to apply to the cooler first than to apply to this because my goodness. Look, it refuses, absolutely refuses in any way, shape, or form to comply. I am trying to just drop a ball here, and it's sticking to the glove instead of going where I want it to go. I mean, these are good sizes so far. I just don't want to touch them once they're in place from the spatula because they are not wanting to stay. They know they're being separated from their family and don't want to be. How dare they? Who gave this putty such a family-centered focus? Yeah. That was almost like a professional. I almost looked like I knew what I was doing there. That's crazy. Okay. That one's still huge, and I know it's huge, and I know it's going to be too much, but this is where we got into. Just slide it over into place, because anything less is problematic. Or sorry, anything more is problematic. It does not want to be touched. So, easiest thing to do, just let it fall off the glove, slide it into place, and hope for the best once we push down. Like, I don't understand why the glove is the choice it is choosing to stick to. And I mean like the slightest touch, ever so slightest touch of the glove, and it's like, come with me. And it's like, no, it's not what I want you to do. Okay. So, at this point, we're rolling on a prayer. And I will cry profusely if this fails. Because this will be a not easy fix. You gotta hope you do it right the first time. Oh man, you know what I think it is? As it warms up, it really likes to just like spread apart and not be cooperative. At least that's been my experience so far. Jesus. Non-cooperative. That was the best word I could have used. Because this stuff is non-cooperative. Like I said, it refuses. It refuses to just cooperate. Cooperate, damn it. I had to stab it to get it to leave me alone. Jesus. Okay, so this seems to be the tool of choice. Okay. So what was the answer? Do I have any more?
So it's kind of a waste, but I'm just...
Okay. Uno, dos, tres. Missing anything? No. Got all those covered, which they didn't really need much, but I got more than they needed. That's fine. I got those 4, and I got those 20. This has way too much on it. I can already see that right now from the application that was there. This has way too much. There's going to be so much overspill. Maybe I can thin it out. Redo. Yeah, there we go. Cut off some of this. I can already tell that was way too much that was on it. That will definitely be better. Okay. Alright. I'm not going to mess with this too much more because... my goodness. Let's get the... let's get the PTM 7950 and the... in place for both of these. So we're done with these little spatulas and stuff. So we'll close this up. For next time, hopefully never use half of it. I had the PTM 7950 in the freezer for now. That's a good long while. Reason being is that as long as it's inside the freezer, it cools, freezes over, gets real nice and cold. When it does that, it actually becomes really easy to manage and cut. So the only thing I don't have out right now, which I'm gonna grab, is my knife, my X-Acto knife. I'm gonna start cleaning up here because I don't need this for anything else now. This is relevant. Okay. Okay. So here, last thing we're gonna do is apply PTM 7950 to both of these, which this one packet should be more than enough. Double, triple what I probably need in order to apply it. So all I gotta do is cut it into shape. Drop it into place, and Bob's your uncle. So, again, this could all be for nothing. I could have possibly broken this thing already and have no idea, which would suck. But only one way to find out, and that's by getting to the end. Once you start something like this, you can't just stop. You gotta finish it. So, as they say, spitters are quitters, and we don't spit in this household. Let's see here. Okay. Got the knife in. Okay. The X-Acto knife is ready. And an actual cool little solution to the problem I was having last time was I found online where they like literally imprinted, essentially. They imprinted the size of it. I'm not going to have to do that because this is pretty straightforward, the sizing of this. I'm usually a good eyeball. And I've learned you don't actually need full 100% coverage. 70% is actually a good coverage amount. Look at that. Perfect. So we got that piece cut, and then I just need a little square piece here for this. So let's see how this piece comes out. Oh, that looks a little less than 70%. And I'd rather give it more than less. So that's too big. Okay, let's try their method. I don't know if it's going to work, but let's try it. It in fact did not work. Let me see here. That looks better. Much better piece. I'm happy with that. And then oh yeah, that's perfect. Okay, cool. So both of these should be full coverage for the most part, perfectly fine. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take this piece. I don't want to use metal if I don't have to, so I'm gonna grab this. And now here, I usually grab either the white or clear, doesn't matter. Preferably the clear side first. Separate the clear side. Drop it into place. And then I press down across it. And I leave it just like that till I'm ready, so I can lift off the white part so it doesn't accidentally get mistaken as in place. So I know for a fact before I put the cooler on to remove that white part. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Into place and press down. And just like that, we have applied the PTM 7950. Take this and grab a corner of the white piece. I actually lifted the it's not sticking. Come on. Stick to it. This is the only pain in the butt part. There we go. Voila. Perfect. We use that to repress down on it. Oh, it lifted it up a little bit, but that's okay. It's not ideal, but as long as the center didn't get lifted up, we're fine. So I can reseal. It's liquid. When it heats up, it'll spread whatever little parts it needs. It won't be a big deal. Same issue here. Let me see if I get lucky on this corner. Oh yeah. Perfection. So perfect application on the CPU and the GPU, so we're good. We have more than 70% coverage on both, which is all that's really needed. And we have thermal putty on everything else as well, as needed. So here, slide this back into place. I'm gonna come back at a little bit of an angle. Move this cable out of the way a little bit. I think best come from down here first. Trying to put this back without laying it down on any piece until it's fully ready to be slid back into place. Use Wi-Fi card. Network card. Come on. A lot of things I did not expect to be my nemesis. Come on. Just cooperate. There we go. Thank you for cooperating. All you had to do was ask. And it did. Okay. So now cables are out of the way. Everything's ready to go in place. And once we put down, push some pressure to wrap everything up. And we can't lift again once we do. So push and push. Push gently into place. Okay. In a moment, we will push, very gently, not to hurt anything. Everything's in place, coolers are in place, which is perfect, no cable issues. This I'm gonna have to re-adhesive, but that's fine. Same for this one. We'll readhesive this as well. This is actually shoved underneath there. Come on. Get into position. There you go. And then this is wrapped underneath here as well. It's also fine. Come on. Come on. There you go. All right. This cable is actually pretty well like held without much help, so I'm not really too concerned about it. This tape. This is where we're going to come back around. Put this down like it's supposed to be. It wraps around here before it comes down. And this stays taped here accordingly. Now this is where a good pair of tweezers come in handy all the day, every day. And then this little bit, grab this tape, retape that back down to hold it into place. And it'll be fine. And then this, push down a little bit. Nothing too crazy. Held down. And voila. Alright, so that's taped down again. This one had the tape on its cable, which luckily held up properly. Now, all that done, let's get these screws back on so we can get this properly seated. Now, this is very important to make sure to go in a crisscross, slow, not full. So one at a time, not fully screwed in, crisscross pattern. I just realized I put this in the wrong spot. Okay. These are the screws for this. Put that there. Take this over here. And then once you have all four in place, proper place, with a little bit of tightness, you go one by one, crisscross, all the way down. Don't need to be too aggressive with it. Just enough to seat it and hold. And create even pressure across all the units. Careful not to strip any screws while doing it, and making sure there's no extra turns available. And then same for over here. Realistically, these are all the same screws, so I'm not really too concerned. They should function and work cross interchangeably, but it's always safe than sorry. Always better to put back where you grabbed it from if you can, preferably in the exact same place, because that helps prevent any oopsie daisies. Okay, and we'll know if we did a terrible job very shortly, because we're very close to getting to the finishing line and finalizing our upgrade here. All right, that's down well. That's down well. All of our heat is definitely touching where they're supposed to be. Everything's got pressure on it. Everything's got goo on it. So I don't think there's any question or problem about if there was enough. There was definitely enough for each one. So now it's just a matter of how well does it work after the fact. So we are done reassembling all the screws. We reconnected both fans before we put this assembly back in. We've made sure all the wires are back where they're supposed to be, still seated in place, just in case we disconnect anything by accident. Over here, we are good as well. There's nothing disconnected. The cable is in a safe place like it's supposed to be. It's wrapped as it's supposed to be. And I could readjust it a little bit just to give it a little bit better placement. I got lucky that it actually had a little bit more adhesive on it here. I'm going to shove this back down. And then, there we go. And looks good there. Cables are connected, so we're not going to have any issues with our Wi-Fi. Tape replaced. I mean, not perfectly, but good enough. These cables are good. They're seated. They're in place. This is good. Seated where it's supposed to be. Nothing in the way. Everything properly seated. Ooh. Now the question is, did we do this? Did we actually succeed? Because I will cry if we didn't. Now that's back on. Now we slide this back into place. That is for the battery. At this point, any and all metal will be no longer touched. Oh, it's so close. Oh, I had it in place. Okay. Cool. So the battery is now reconnected. It is officially all put back together. Final steps. Moment of truth, I best say. And let's hear those clicks. This is very important to make sure we put the screws back in the correct place and order. You put a long screw where a short screw is supposed to be, I can guarantee you're going to have a really bad day. So let's see here. I'll put this, I never know when this might come in handy, so this piece is still perfectly good. There's this garbage. Okay, so put that away. I have a new one of these packs coming anyways, so I always like to keep a new spare one just in case. But let's get this screw back in. So this is why we keep organized exactly where the screws that we have and where they're going to go are, so we don't make any false mistakes, any foolish mistakes. So far, so good. So I'm going to start from the upper left corner. Oh, this is a T5. T6. Yeah, I was watching a video and someone said it was a T5, and I'm like, you're going to strip your stuff because this is actually a T6, not a T5. A good way to tell is that whenever I go to utilize a screw or install it, I always give the screwdriver a little twist before I do anything. And I feel if the screwdriver has a lot of give or not. If the screwdriver is actually like twisting already, like a little bit of give, there's a very strong chance that is the wrong size. It may be one size too small. And that's exactly what I had when I tried using a T8 first, then a T7, and I realized, they're too big, they're not going in. Then T6, I'd always start bigger than smaller and move my way up, only because I'd rather it not go in at all, where risk of stripping is extremely low, not impossible, but low, versus going too small, your chances of stripping are like 20 times higher because it's so much smaller, it has room to give. And that's the last thing you want to do. So make sure that when you're putting these in as well, you shouldn't feel any resistance. It should be clean up until a couple screws in, and that's how you know you have a properly seated situation. if you're screwing and it's like fighting you a little bit, there's a very strong possibility you have cross-threaded it. And if you have cross-threaded it, the last thing you want to do is continue to force it in and ruin that thread. So when I start screwing, I give it a twist or two, and if I feel any argument whatsoever, I just let it win. I give up and I retry. Because realistically, you think you're going to win that argument, you're going to still lose it. It's just the way it works. And yes, I am still talking about working on a computer. So here we go. We're going to screw this in. And then we have one last screw, which I love the fact that this screw stays into place. So it's literally here just to help you, give you a good starting point to open up the back. ASUS does care about people's ability to repair their stuff. At least in my opinion, they do. There's certain things that they do that's like a little questionable, but for the most part, they don't make it impossible like some other companies. So, now, moment of truth. Did we blow this thing up? Let's find out. Unfortunately, we won't know until I run a stress test on it, whether I've messed up somewhere along the way or if everything's working perfectly. So, oh my God, look at that. I'm gonna have to clean that off. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, I did not know or realize that was happening. Hey, baby girl, can you help me real quick? Can you please put this underneath the stuff in there, please?
You woke the baby up.
I was not intending to.
You woke the baby up. Are you hungry?
I'm not done yet, but yes. Okay, so no more gloves needed, so we don't have to dirty nothing. I'm gonna take this little.
I love you.
Now, for first time boot up after opening and using the system like the way we did, we actually have to plug in the power supply. Now, if I messed up somewhere, we're about to find out. Oh, baby. Okay. Moment of truth. 3, 2. Oh, yeah. That's right, home skillet biscuit. That's right. Uh-oh. Oh, no. We fucked something up. Okay. We'll find out in a minute. Unless it just needs a minute to start up. I'm not seeing anything on the screen. It's not impossible. I may have damaged the display cable. I doubt it, but it's not impossible. Give this a minute. Oh no, we're good. It just needed a minute to power up. Oh yeah. Oh man, I had a moment of silence for myself. Okay. Hold on. So far so good. Let's see if it boots. We're loading. It looks good so far. Oh man, oh man. I'm gonna have such a good day if this continues to continue going this way. Oh jeez. Oh yeah, look at that, buddy. Okay, so now I ran some tests, some, basic throttling tests with 3D Mark before I executed the full upgrade. to see where we would stand after. So I got a baseline. We're going to do another baseline. This has a break-in period, so I don't actually expect it to be perfect out the gate. I'm expecting issues, or a drop in performance, I should say. I don't expect it to actually perform 100% to the same quality. I mean, if it does, I will be so very happy, but I don't expect it. So let's see. Okay. 3D Mark. Wow, I still just can't believe. So far, so good. We'll find out just how bad or good I did in a moment if when we do our thermal throttling test. The repaste I did on my GPU that I showed you guys and recorded for you guys, I actually got amazing performance. I'm getting on high yield performance, like when I'm playing on Call of Duty, for example. I'm seeing higher frame rates than I did before. I'm actually having a lower delta. So when my computer is like in an idle state, I'm getting a 10 to 11 degree delta in the hotspot to the average. But then when I actually start doing performance tasks and I start really pushing the system, I'm getting 8 degree deltas, 9 degree deltas. Like that PTM 7950 is putting in some good work. Now here, I want to make sure we're seeing the 4050. Yes, we are. Speedway. I want to test it with the 4050. So I'm going to do, let's do a light run before we do a heavy run. Because this needs to do a baby test first. Can't run before you've walked. So we're going to find out. This is supposed to be a light test for light systems. And we'll see what we get out of it. So far, the fact that the computer's on is a great sign. But this is where we'll really find out. We're screen recording while at the same time running a stress test benchmark on 3D Mark. So if we're going to run into issues or complaints, we're going to find out real quick. Let's find out. That PTM 7950 has been a wonderful investment, honestly. It is not expensive. Linus Tech Tips has it on his store for $20 for a decent 60 by 60 centimeter application amount, and that is solid. The most expensive part of this whole thing, honestly, was the freaking Putty Pro. That was the most expensive part of this entire thing. I still have half of it left over, so we can definitely reuse it for another application, which I will put it away for that purpose. Okay, moment of truth. Here we are. I was averaging about 20 frames per second in the previous test. Honestly, I just don't want to see a crash. As long as I don't see a crash, I'm super happy. I put a good amount of PTM 7950 on both the GPU and the CPU, so I don't expect any issues. Oh, what? No, this can't be right. Something's wrong. Something's off here. I must be looking at a different test. This must be because it's the light one, and I probably didn't look at the average before, because I'm getting 70 frames, 60 to 70 frames on this test, and I don't think that's what the performance was before. Let's see what we get on average when it actually completes the full test. That's incredible. That is actually incredible. I'm just happy that so far it hasn't crashed. That's a good sign. We have no crashing. We're getting average 55, 75. Once those fans start kicking up, we'll get more. 60 frames, 70 frames. Let's see what we're getting out of this. Okay. Ooh, those fans be working hard. Okay, so here we are going 8,000. Wow. So we definitely have a huge improvement in the performance. In the previous test I ran, I don't think I got even close to that. I think I was at 7,700. No matter what, either way, 8,078 is my score. 8,033 is the average. I am super happy. We're getting above average marks on the light test. Let's try, now that we've given it a little baby test, let's try the full speedway, more heavy duty ray tracing included. Again, PTM 7950 does have a break-in period. It's supposed to give you an extra degree-ish over time. It is an industrial grade thermal phase change pad that's used in a lot of companies and a lot of systems worldwide. So it's not something you really have to be concerned about on whether it's going to be quality. It's all about your application of it. As long as your application of it is proper sized, solid implementation, you're going to get some great performance. When I did this to my RTX 4080, I was so very happy with the outcomes that I got afterwards. And so far, this ProArt, which I adore this laptop, is also benefiting heavily from this upgrade. So ooh, I'm excited to see these results. 8,000. I don't remember if it was this one that gave me the 2,000. I'm pretty sure it was this test, this Speedway that gave me a 2,000 score. I was averaging somewhere between 20 and 21 frames on this test. And honestly, as long as I've averaged the same, I don't care. I'm not looking for an improvement in performance. I'm simply looking for the identical same performance. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to what is going to be the most reliable, what is going to be the best, safest thing to have in my system, I want to have PTM 7950, and I do not want to have any liquid metal in my system. So if I'm able to maintain the performance deltas and get better, and potentially get better performance, I'm happy with that. I don't expect better performance, but I'll take whatever I can get as long as it's the same performance and better longevity. That's what I did this for. That's why I took this risk, and that's why I opened this up and did what I did. And so far, no crashing, no overheating. We are looking at, oh, moment of truth, drum roll please. As long as we see 2,000, oh buddy, 2,048, same performance with the PTM 7950. From what I can see here, let me verify if I have. So this is why I'm showing you this. So this is, let's save this. We're going to do after repaste plugged in. So if we go here, light plugged in result, right? Let's load some information. Light plugged in. We'll load this up and show you again. So we, on the light score, this is the light Nomad, 17.73. Using the RTX 4050, we got a 1773. I don't understand this Steel Nomad. This score, 17.73. Did I just get a better score out of it? Oh, no, that's the difference. I did the light. That's not fair. Let's do the Steel Nomad because that's the one I ran before. That's the one we were just looking at. 1773 was our previous score. Let's see, now that we've got it a little warmed up, everything should be kicking. I got to cool it down a little bit, but now that we got it kicking a little cool, let's see here. Personally, a lot of people have a little bit of an opinion / complaint on the fan sound out of this laptop. I personally don't care. I think the fans are perfectly fine. And honestly, right now, I'm just ecstatic that we succeeded. The fact that we've been able to run what we've ran so far, if there was a misapplication somewhere, we would have already seen it. It would have overheated. It would have crashed on us already. So the fact that we are in this place where so far everything's working perfectly tells me that the chances, it's not impossible, but the chances of a misapplication is extremely unlikely. And that is exactly where we want to be. So we did a full Steel Nomad test before, not a light. So let's do full Steel Nomad once more. We were averaging 17, 18 frames roughly before. 1773 was our status on this when we first did it before repasting. Oh man, I'm so excited. I really hope that this worked out beautifully because it looks like it probably did. And that's just I'm awesome. I mean, it's just the reality. Not everybody can be cool like me. It's of course a joke. Everyone can do this. This is not something, I mean, I've never done this before. This is my first try, and I'm blessed and lucky to say with time, patience, and focus, I was also very successful in my first try. Not everybody will be as lucky. Some people will make mistakes, and it happens. This is obviously not my first time going inside of a system because I have repasted my graphics card twice already. And with that experience, this makes this a little easier, not so unnerving. But with no guidance, not knowing what screws to undo, what needs to be undone in order to get to where I need to get to, I'm very happy with where we are. 1733. So we have improved our performance by a total of 33. So let's load this up again. I'm going to save this as an after repaste. And we're going to redo this light. Nomad. After repaste. Nomad. So let's load those settings up. I want to see here. Okay, so they did the same thing as before. Unfortunately, it wasn't actually recording the temperatures, which is upsetting. Okay, but that's fine. So light plugged in. So we got 1766 before or after the repaste. We are currently at 17. Oh no, we actually dropped a couple frames. That's unfortunate. 1773 was our average previously. And here we are able to actually see why. So this is still Nomad at regular. We're able to see CPU clock frequency 4000. I'm going to relaunch this and reopen. I want to see if we can maybe get some of that information. I do think there is a possibility and chance for just need a retest. It could just be, again, the system needs time to break in. That is a total possibility. It's a simple answer. Which, again, it's not the end of the world. If I lose a few 0.33 like I did there, or 0.30, yeah, 0.33, I'm not super thrilled about it, but it's not the end of the world. I lose it. It is what it is. What I'm very happy about, though, is that I won't have to worry about my system dying from its own existence, which was a huge concern with the liquid metal. So yes, we might lose a smidge of performance, and honestly, for what I'm doing, I'm not playing video games. I'm actually doing video editing. So to me, whatever. But it would be nice to see if we're able to maintain at minimum. And it might just need a little break-in period. I mean, granted, I've been kind of hitting it kind of hard, and I just put that stuff in. It still hasn't even had time to breathe or settle. But that's okay. It's not the end of the world. It will survive. No extra screws left behind, which means that we have done a successful job of putting everything back where it's supposed to go. Another win. Got to take all your wins wherever you can. I'm definitely going to have to clean this mat. I got a little bit of putty on it, as much as I was trying to avoid it. We're currently cleaning up because every time we do a project like this, we got to make sure we clean up after ourselves. Put everything back where it goes, so that way we don't have a mess. But I'm happy. The computer's not overheating. The computer's not crashing, meaning we don't have any unnecessary hotspots. We have a clean, solid application of the PTM 7950 on both the CPU and the GPU. And luckily, because it has, funny enough, because it's actually applied for liquid metal, I think that foam will actually help with maintaining the liquid metal in the position that it needs, the PTM 7950 in the position it needs to be in, and will prevent heat pumping that can happen over time sometimes. It's not very common, but it can happen. Oh man, I'm just very, very happy right now that this worked out beautifully. We are in a great place for where we want to be. And so far, so very, very good. Again, even if I lose a 0.3, I'm not mad about it. As long as I know this computer is going to last me 3 times, 4 times longer, because I don't have to worry about the potential of I don't have to worry about the potential of, God forbid, the liquid metal situation. We're in a much happier, better place. So let's see here. So far, so good. 17.9. 17. So far, no overheating. That's great. 15 minutes. 1790. We have exceeded. So this is within a general margin of error of 0.3. I am super happy with that. We're going up and down. We're still above average both ways, even at the 1733 score that we got previously and the 1766 score. As you can see, it's broken in just a little bit because we were able to get a little bit more performance out of it. Okay, we're going to leave this be for right now. I want to let it break in naturally. But that is phenomenal. I am super, super happy with that. I am very, very ecstatic to see what else we are able to do. All right. We have... Add to repaste. Where did that go? Did I go into videos or something? I hope it didn't. It probably did. Pictures, document, desktop. After repasting. There we go. Just had it. Oh, there it is. Okay. Perfect. Oh, man. I'm so excited. That's awesome. All right. We're good for right now. That's it. I mean, everybody, that is that was repasting my PX13 ProArt from ASUS because we don't want to have a PC with a ticking time bomb in it. Even though liquid metal gives you better performance as a whole, it's not worth the risk. It's not worth it. In my opinion, you already saw PTM 7950 on some margins after some time can actually outperform liquid metal. It's not common. Liquid metal has its purpose. It's the reason why it exists, but it's the gain is so minimal and the risk is so high. I think one of the things that I love to have learned from the book Rich Dad Poor Dad is you have to learn to manage your risk. And in this situation, I don't think that the risk that liquid metal presents is justified for the minimal performance gains you're going to get. PTM 7950 is amazing, and now they have PTM 7958, which is a newer version of PTM 7950. I haven't looked into it. I don't even think it's even remotely accessible from the consumer market yet until Linus decides he wants to switch over to 58 instead of 50, if that's even a thing they're considering. But ultimately, you can see firsthand, PTM 7950, you don't have the risk of liquid metal. Granted, in this situation, swapping it out was the risk, and that's an unfortunate reality that I can't prevent, right? If they designed their system to work this way, this is how they designed their system. So all we can do is try to be proactive and, well, fix their mistake. I love ASUS. I don't think ASUS did anything wrong here. I know that they're just trying to get the most performance out of their systems, but in my opinion, the PTM 7950 is a superior, safer option and should be the go-to. So, hope you guys enjoyed. I hope that was informative. I hope you follow along, and please in the future leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you want to see more content like this. I'll find stuff to fix if that is the case. But ultimately, for right now, I don't think I'm going to make another video unless I have an emergency that I need to repaste my graphics card or my laptop again. Definitely not a fan of the putty. Putty is so much more difficult than the actual pads. So that's a thing that I learned about myself today. Have a good one, y'all, and I hope you enjoyed.